Hello guys and welcome to another video. So, uh, first of all, I want to thank you all so much for commenting on my last video because it was a new idea. I didn't really know how it was gonna do, and it did pretty well. You guys enjoyed me talking about off-meta units, uh, but you did have some criticism towards my ML Leo team because I also didn't know. Because if you didn't notice, that's like the only dark ML4 that I'm missing. Um, that it takes 2 turns to explode the bombs. So today we're going to go over the ML Leo team again, and then we're going to speak of 3 other units, all right? And today it's going to be, let's talk off meta, okay? Um, First of all, thank you so much for your suggestions. All the units that you'll see here today will be units that you guys suggested. So if you suggest on this video for more units that you think they're weak or no one uses them, and you're wondering what type of team they would work, yeah, you just leave it down in the comments, and I'll address them on the next Let's Talk Off Meta video. All right. So let's start this. First of all, we'll start with the unit. Let me just perform the ritual here. You'll talk some Sanskrit and boom. All right, the bug is still on, guys. Let's move on. All right. First of all, let's go. Hero Journal. Let's go to Moonlight Leo. Because Moonlight Leo takes 2 turns to explode his bomb, the team that I'm going to propose now for you to consider, it's going to be a team that no longer exploits the fact that his bomb skills off of his attack, because a commenter that already built Leo told me that the damage from each bomb, it's not worth enough for it to be a thing, right? And this is why people are not really happy with ML Leo. But you can always look at bombs as a stackable stun. And this is what I'm going to propose to you: a team where you can control the enemy team with bombs. And how do you do this? This will require a Moonlight 5-star, Moonlight Araminta, but I'll give you my idea here. All right. So the team would be Basar. You would S3 burn with Basar to push and cleanse, and then ML Araminta. You'd build a fast, high effectiveness ML Araminta. You'd use her S3 and you would stun everything. And leave some burns. The burn will do damage over time, and this team will be a damage over time team. And then it's Leo's turn. Leo will S3. He will apply the bombs over the stun. What this will do is that if the enemy has a stun and a bomb, it means that when they take a turn, they're stunned and they do nothing. And then on the second turn, they get stunned. Because stuns cannot be extended in this game, bombs are a great way to extend them. So this is a utility for Leo. On the second turn, you'll be kind of weak to counter attacks. But if you remember, Basar's S2 decreases hit chance and attack down, meaning that on turn 2, Basar will be free to use his damage reduction ability. Because if you put the attack down and hit chance on the enemy, if they use counters, if they use anything versus you, if they get a turn, they will be weak and they will not able to kill you. And the 4th unit for this team is DN. Because DN not only will give attack buff, making the burn from Araminta, from Moonlight Araminta and Leo's bomb skill more because of the attack buff, but she can also use Mogahara's Tome to leave her closer to a turtle build. So you use S3, it puts anti-crit and attack buff up, and then she gets the extra CR, and she gets like pretty much like 75% CR, and then she gets her turn again, puts the shield up. And with shield up, anti-crit up, and the enemy debuffed with hit chance and attack down, your team is safe to have these 2 turns happen. And what can happen is, if you put ML Araminta on, I forgot the name, on the mage artifact that reduces cooldown. Where is it? I forget. Okay, if you put her on Atticus Scepter, it means she has a high chance, or slightly high chance, of having her turns reduced. and you can possibly loop with her and stun the enemies again, not letting them have a turn. And this is the team I did with ML Leo. Basar, ML Araminta, ML Leo, and Diane. And I think this team works. No soul burns are required other than Basar's, and because there's two mages, you can take as many tag hells as you might need. Yeah. So I think this team works pretty well. And if you guys have Moonlight Leo and Moonlight Araminta, I mean, the Moonlight Araminta is a requirement for this type of team, because if you use a normal Leo or a Dominial, it could work as well. Don't get me wrong. But you're already playing with a bit too much RNG, because if you look at this is a 90% chance to apply bomb. So it's not, even Leo doesn't have that 100%, right? So you'll be playing a bit more with RNG, but it still works. Like, if you want to use Leo, normal Leo, the slow will help tons, because then you'll loop with the N, and then you might loop with Araminta and stack stuns again, right? But this is the team for now, and I hope it fixed everything that I was saying earlier. For damage Leo, I don't think we have enough units to make it work yet, because yeah. When I get him, I will test his damage, but one of my faithful subscribers said they already built him and the damage isn't very good from bombs, so I'm going to believe him, and we're going to move along from Leo. Next unit you guys suggested was Reverse Kirito, Raz. Oh, Raz. You guys are going to love this Raz team. A lot of people meme on Raz, but Raz got buffed. And the buff from Raz was mostly the strip here, and they changed some HP scalings and stuff. But the most important skill of Raz. First of all, let's read what Raz does. 75% chance to dispel a buff and scales off of max HP. Dual attacks with the highest attack ally, and attacks all enemies, dealing health scaling damage with defense buff to self. So, with Raz, this is the skill you want to look at. First of all, as you can see, it's a 3-turn skill that has a 1 soul burn that decreases the cooldown of this skill for 2 turns. So if you burn with him, on the next turn you'll have this skill again. And this is what you want to abuse on this team. The team that I propose you use with Raz is Basar, Luluka, Yuna, and Raz. Why Yuna? A lot of people are using Yuna now because Yuna is a pretty strong unit. She's naturally fast, she has speed buff, and she has the EE to give greater attack buff. So, what you will use with this team is you Basar, and then you Basar burn, because Basar and Luluka will be taking Tagahels for the extra souls. Basar burns, pushes everyone back. Luluka defense breaks. Yuna attack and speed buffs, and then with Raz, you burn skill 2. And what this does, it takes the highest attack character on the team, which will be Yuna. Because Yuna, to be slower than the Basar and the Luluka, it's mostly going to be around 180 speed, 160 speed, which is pretty low for her, meaning that you can invest more in damage. So, with Raz, you use this, and she has a possibility to get greater attack buff, but she's going to be attack buffed, and she's going to counter with Raz, and her S1 is AoE, so it's going to be a cleave. Basar, Luluka is going to be there for the defense break, and on the second turn, Luluka is going to defense buff, and on the second turn, Raz is going to do it again. So it's going to be like, defense buff from Luluka is mostly for survivability, but this is basically a cleave, a Yuna S1 cleave, yeah? And then Yuna, because she's going to have speed buff and she's kind of fast, she's going to get her turn again, she's going to S1, and then Raz is going to help her S1 again. So she can possibly, in 2 turns, use her S1 3 times. And this is how I would use Raz, and I think it's a pretty viable way to use Raz, because you don't have to make him super fast, you just have to speed tune this team, and it's pretty safe, because Basar push plus Luluka plus Yuna, it's just great. All you need to do is speed tune this team, put some good damage gear on Yuna. Basar doesn't even need too much effectiveness for this build, and Luluka just needs to be a bit fast to be in front of Yuna. That's it. Pretty easy. Right, moving on to the next suggested person on the list. Still on fire, and you guys are going to love this team as well, because I've actually thought about building this team, but now I'm going to tell you what I normally would do with this. So, Baal Sezan got buffed, but people still don't use him. But he's an extremely nice unit, because not only is he a defense breaker, but he also can be a DPS. So, what we're going to do is a one-man cleave Baal. What this means is that we're not going to put him alone, but we're going to have support units to make him go twice and kill everyone, right? This skill right here, let's go for all the skills. First of all, his S1, 35% chance to inflict poison, which isn't very good. But his S2 is the big kicker. It's an AoE damage dealing ability that scales off of number of debuffs inflicted on the enemy. So, this is also very good. And his S3 is, for me, one of the most overpowered skills in the game, okay? Because look at that. He has a, with the Molagaras, let me see, it's 10%, he has an 85% chance to defense down, speed down, and unhealable. And these are very, very, very strong skills, all right? Strong debuffs. So the way I would use ML Basar would be with, I would have Basar, Baal and Sezan. Did I say Basar? ML. The way you use ML, Baal, and Sezan is you use Basar, you use Baal and Sezan, Ox lots and lots. So you're gonna use Basar and double lots with this guy. And the turn order would be Basar burns. There's plenty of mages on this team as well, so you can take as many Tegahells as you possibly can, and you'll be fine. Okay. So Basar goes, strips and puts the unbuffable on. Baal goes next. Oxlots goes next. Gives the turn to Baal with attack buff, right? So the enemy is stripped and Baal is going to be slow, full DPS Baal, okay? Nothing else, just full DPS Baal. No need for speed because you're going to have two lots to deal with that, right? So you go Basar, you burn with Basar. After you burn with Basar, Oxlots takes his turn because it's going to be sort of fast, like, like 220, or depending on the speed of your Basar, but like put him like 20 or 10 speed lower than your Basar. So it's going to be slightly fast, but not too fast. Oxlots gives the turn to Baal. Baal uses skill 3. Applies defense breaks, slows, and unhealable. But mostly, the defense break is the debuff you want. So the enemy is going to be debuffed with unbuffable from the Basar. If you want to take triple Tagahell, it's kind of hard for a lot of players to have 3 Tagahells fully maxed, but if you want to take triple Tagahell with Basar, Baal, and Oxlots, you can, all right? Or just take 2 Tagahells, and what you can do is, you can do Basar burn, Oxlots burn, and that's going to put the silence on, give the extra turn so you can give the turn to Baal, and then Oxlots comes after normal lots comes after Oxlots and gives the turn back to Baal. He still has attack buff and he uses S2. So let's recap on this. Basar goes, burns, strips. Oxlots goes, he either S2s and gives the turn and attack buff to Baal, or he burns, puts the silences on the team, and then gives the turn to Baal. Baal will S3 and put the defense breaks, speed down, and unhealable on the enemy, and because he's full DPS, it's already going to deal a good amount of damage, right? And then normal lots takes his turn, and gives another turn to Baal, which he still has attack buff, and then he burns Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud burn increases the damage dealt, and the enemy is going to be debuffed to high hell. So you can either take Tagahells on Baal because he's a mage, or you can take Portrait or Tonfas or something for damage, and this is going to be the nuking ability, because this ability got buffed. So it's got like damage increase, and the damage increase per debuff is also pretty good. So this team is pretty much like a Basar Cleave, but you get to take a lot of units that people don't use. And honestly, I think it's pretty strong, because this guy on full damage, this skill is already going to hurt. And it's going to debuff, and then he's going to take another turn, and he's going to use this one with burn, and it's pretty much going to clear everything. I doubt anything can survive this type of cleave, right? And if they do survive for some reason, they are very highly debuffed. They're slowed, they're unhealable, there's not much they can do after this one, right? So that's my team for Baal and Sezan. Let's move on to the next suggestion from you guys. Next suggestion was Moonlight Rin. All right. You guys, I think you guys are gonna like this team as well, because Moonlight Rin is a very, 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 very fast unit. She has one of the highest base speeds in the game. I think the highest base speed in the game is 129. So she's only 3 speed short of the highest in the game. But if you look at her attack, it's pretty decent as well, and she has pretty good tanky stats. So instead of doing a fast Crescent Moon Rin, because that's how people would build her, and that's why people don't build her, because she's not great at that. She takes first turn, she puts immunity on your team, but she can be easily countered by a lot of things. She's getting more use in RTA because the stealing buff mechanic is pretty good. But first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get over what the skills of this unit do. S1 gives a random buff to the caster every time she does an S1, but with Burn, it grants that random buff to all allies for 2 turns. Skill 2, this is the steal buff ability. It steals 2 buff from the enemy when it uses, and it's a single target ability. S3, single target ability, it strips, and if it strips something, it takes an extra turn and puts if it doesn't strip, it still puts immunity on all allies, but if it strips, it takes an extra turn. So normally you would want to target an immunity character with this, and then she would get an extra turn and attack with S2, and then strip some other buffs that your ally might have. But this is her biggest issue. Because she's so fast, the only thing she can steal mostly, it's immunity buffs. So what did I think about? I think about this. Her attack isn't bad at all. So I would build a full DPS Crescent Moon Rin using RNL. And why is this? Any assassin that gets extra turns can take extra benefit from RNL, because she can get an extra turn and RNL proc, and then she'll use this, and she can use S1 or whatever she wants to do. Alright? So, let's move on to the team. Because she's going to be slow and super high damage, she's going to need a cleanser, because she's going to probably take a hit, right? But for that, we'll be using Lilias. The team I would use with Crescent Moon Rin is Lilias, DN, Luluka, and Moonlight Rin. All right? This is the team, and I'll tell you why. As you can see here, her base HP is pretty good too. So not only can you build her full DPS, but you can also scale a little bit into her HP, because she can probably take a hit, solid. She can probably take a solid hit from anyone. She's probably not gonna sustain a cleave, but you can play around with that because her damage is pretty good, right? So you would use her as a DPS that gives some debuff protection to your team, and if you're fighting a maid Chloe or something, you're gonna be taking turn 2. You can put that revive and attack buff on your team with her. All right, so it's gonna be pretty good. So the team would be Lilias, Diane, Luluka, and Moonlight Rin, and the turn order would be Lilias would go for the cleanse, Diane would attack buff, Luluka would defense break, and Moonlight Rin would take her turn, and then this is where it gets kind of fun. Because she's DPS, she's going to deal some damage. But the idea is, if the enemy buffed, she will use S3 on a defense broken buffed unit, and she's going to strip that unit, and she's going to probably deal a lot of damage, and she's going to get an extra turn. When she gets her extra turn, she will steal the beneficial effects that the enemy has. This could be revive, attack buff, anything that they have on, and they would put them on their team. On their last one, because you're taking Luluka can carry Tagahel just for her, because in case she RNL procs, or in case the fast lasts long enough, she would burn S3 and grant a random buff to the team. These random buffs are pretty good, especially the crit hit damage one and the greater attack buff. Continuous healing is nice, increased evasion is awesome, alright? If you get this, your team is going to survive a lot more, yeah? If you don't want to take the RNL route, what you can do is Wind Rider. Because if you take Wind Rider on her and you nuke someone with her S2, with her S3 or with her S2, she's gonna go into stealth and she's gonna have a higher chance of surviving until the next turn. And this is kind of how I would use DPS Rin. I would use her on RNL or on Wind Rider, and I would have, because she gives immunity, right? When she does this, after Lilias cleanses, she's gonna have more immunity for the next turns, right? Because it's kind of pointless to use immunity right away when you have Basar stripping and stuff like that. But Basar is not going to really hit this team because of Lilias, yeah. And after the cleanse, she puts immunity, and then he protects the team further because Lilias can only protect on the first turn when she has 3s. And this is my Moonlight Rin team that I would use. So I think this is it. If you guys enjoyed this video and you have more suggestions, please leave down below the suggestion for other units to use. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe for more, and let me know if you're liking this off-meta series. I'm really enjoying it because I get to look at some units that I don't really do often. So leave your suggestion and I'll keep doing it. So hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later, and bye-bye.